Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. The topic of changing brake pads or brake shoes seems simple to many people and doesn't require a video. However, the truth is there are some small details that, if not noticed, will cause strange problems, such as one tire gripping more than the other, causing the car to veer to the right or left, or your brakes overheating, or when you change the heavy brake pads, you find one side full and the other empty. So, what causes these problems and how to avoid them is what I will explain to you now. Stay with me. When you apply this to your car, you will find some differences in the shape and design of the caliper, but the basics are almost the same. The first mistake, or observation that no one makes, is pushing the piston back using a screwdriver to easily remove the part that holds the heavy brake pads. Secondly, we disassemble this part and move it back to access the brake pads. Therefore, you need to loosen the brake hose connected to it to give you more space while you work. You'll find a brake pad holding the hose to the side. Tap it back with a screwdriver and a light hammer to release it and free the hose from its position, giving you freedom of movement. Then loosen the screw at the top that secures the moving part to the stationary part. Here, it's very easy to disassemble and remove the two moving parts. Thirdly, a mistake or observation. You must check if the brake discs are level or if they need turning on a lathe. You can do this using a very simple tool. Take a grinder blade and count 4 or 5 strips. Using any type of pliers, be careful not to cut yourself. Then go to the brake discs and check if the light passes behind them. Repeat this test for every part of the skirt. To understand this test, here's how to check for dented brake discs. Take the same ruler we use and place it on the disc with the problem. When I turn on the flashlight, the light will pass through the middle because the ruler is resting on the far right and far left. When I move it to another location, the dent will get bigger and bigger. Even when I place it at an angle, the dent is still there. This is a defect. To fix it, the discs need to be machined on a lathe to make them level and securely held. Fourthly, check the rubber seal on the piston. Is it intact or torn? And most importantly, check the piston itself. Is the piston itself clean and free of rust and dirt? Because in some cases the piston will have very heavy dust, rust, and dirt. Of course, it needs to be cleaned well because dust and dirt. Countries. They go back inside with the piston and get stuck between the piston and the inner ring, thus hindering the piston's movement and later causing oil leaks. For example, here's what it looked like before cleaning, and this is what it looks like after cleaning. Let's go back to the initial state we're working on. Using any metal object other than a person, I'll lift the dust seal and take a white cloth to wipe all the dust and dirt around the piston. While doing this, be careful not to cut the dust seal. The cloth should wrap around the entire piston from end to end. Let's see the result. All this dirt and dust will get inside when we move the piston back to install the new piston because currently the piston is forward and moving. In this case, you must add a very light layer of grease to the piston, but you can't use regular grease because it's derived from materials. Petroleum. And it will cut the piston's dust seal. You'll need silicone grease, and because it's expensive, they made small 25-gram containers of it. It's economical, and its size is as you see. and it serves the purpose 100%. This silicone is made from silicone oil and polysiloxane, and its color is white and it's waterproof. It's used with metals, rubber, and plastics, and it has many uses. I'll explain them to you now. You lift the piston's dust seal, and your hand or finger must be clean when you use it. Take a very thin layer and distribute it around the entire piston to facilitate and smooth its movement. And for the second time, I warn you that you cannot use greases derived from petroleum materials because they eat away at the rubber and cut it. After you finish, put the dust seal back in place, then pull out the guide on top that the caliper moves on and wipe it well from any dirt on it, and add inside its cavity a little bit of silicone grease, and the same thing applies to the guide itself. A thin layer, wrap it around all sides before reinstalling it in its place, making sure its rubber is in place. The same thing we did with the guide above, we do with the one below. Silicone grease has many other uses in the car. For example, the door seal that insulates sound. You take a very thin layer of silicone grease and spread it over the entire door seal so that it remains flexible and effective. Rub this layer into the rubber thoroughly until it is completely absorbed. Rub this layer into the rubber thoroughly until it is completely absorbed. This keeps the rubber flexible and prevents it from drying out, cracking, and losing its effectiveness. It also has another use with the car's sunroof. You take a layer of it and spread it on the tracks the sunroof moves on because it facilitates its movement and makes it sound smoother. By the way, all cars with a sunroof come from the factory with it. Grease. The silicone you see here is what's left of the factory grease, and this is another use. If you have a spring for your handbag handle with a flap, take a very thin layer of it and rub it vigorously back and forth on the spring until it disappears. Then try it, and you'll find the spring works perfectly again. I'll leave the link below the video if anyone wants to try it. It's very economical, and one can is enough for all 4 brake calipers. But if you're replacing the door and roof seals, you'll need 2 cans. Now let's continue with the other mistakes that happen when changing brakes. When you move the piston back because the new brake pads are thicker, you must first go to the brake fluid reservoir and loosen its cap by just half a turn. To move the piston back, take a heavy piece from the old brake pad and place it in front of the piston. You have 2 options. The first is to use a metal handle, a long wrench, or a large, strong screwdriver and press down on it. Angle it to force the piston to move backwards. This requires a little effort, but it gets a reasonable result. Or the second, easier solution is a very simple clamp you can make yourself. You can make it with an old heavy-duty tool and a dirty shaft. You attach it as you see here, and it will make you move the piston backwards very easily and without any effort, unlike the first method, which relies on manual effort. Before you hold the new brake pads and install them, make sure your hands are completely dry with no oil or grease on them. The same applies to the brake discs. They must also be completely dry. If you find any oil or grease, wipe it off first because it will cause a temporary weakness in the brakes. Make sure the bottom plate is in place and in its position, and the same applies to the top plate. Install the new brake pads in their right and left positions and make sure they are snug. Inside the plate and mounted correctly, remove the old screw we used to return the piston. Lift the moving part and you'll find it returns to its place very easily. The second to last point is that specifically with the brakes, all the screws must be secure before the connection so they don't come loose due to vibrations, as brake components are the most susceptible to vibration in the car. The last point concerns the air screw of the brake caliper. Loosen it halfway to release any air bubbles that might be trapped inside the caliper, as brake fluid is very hygroscopic and air bubbles form inside it, remaining trapped and causing problems in the brakes. Like and share the video so that whoever is replacing their brakes understands the small details that make the replacement correct and professional. After you press the subscribe button, activate notifications by pressing the bell icon. That's all for now. That's the end of the video, and we'll continue together in the next video, God willing.